All right, let's go live now to Cal Fire and Dan McLaughlin. Morning, Danny.
Good morning, Todd, and good morning, Lake Tahoe. I'm here with Captain Chris Sauer from Cal Fire, and we got a bunch of logs here we want to talk about, but first we need to go back in history a bit. If this was 1900, we are standing in an area that there would be no forest. Is that correct? This would be one big meadow?
This would be a meadow, and they used to say that in Lake Tahoe, you used to be able to ride a horse at full gallop through the forest and not lose your hat.
Well, but that was back before the entire area was logged out to build Virginia City. So what we are looking at behind us is really new growth, and it has yet had enough time to thin itself out properly.
That's true, and also we haven't had the normal average fires. We'd get fires every 5 to 10 to 20 years that would be low intensity fires. They'd be burning all the dead material on the ground, little saplings, and keep that wide open space, that open forest that we're supposed to have up here. But since that hasn't been happening, our forest, as you can see behind me, is very, very choked and clogged, and the fire departments, U.S. Forest Service, the Tahoe Corps, CAL FIRE, all the local fire departments, for the last 10, 15 years, we've been working on trying to reduce that fuel manually and mechanically.
And that's the important thing that people have to realize. These are trees that would have died eventually because the forest would have taken the toll with them. You're just speeding up the process because we need to prevent fires from happening.
Absolutely. We're trying to get the forest back into the state that it would be if humans hadn't been involved. So we have to get back. And so you see all the burn piles that have been put around the area. You see mechanical equipment in the forest. You see log decks, and then behind me you can see some of the marks on the trees. That's all been marked for thinning so that our forest can stay healthy and vibrant and fire resistive.
All right, now these logs then are going to be used. There's many projects around Lake Tahoe that these things can be used for, but it's very important that people realize that these projects are important and critical to maintaining a healthy forest. Without it, the forest would be far more susceptible to infections, things like that.
Absolutely. The fire regime, the forest it's a fire environment. California is a fire environment. And so the forests are used to having fire, having that fuel reduced. And so when it gets all clogged and thick like that, it's not a healthy forest. It needs to be thinned. And since we don't want fire to be doing that, we want to be doing it manually and mechanically and do our fuel reduction projects here and all over California. And we get state and federal funding. We get federal funding for that. Our fire prevention fee that we have every year in California, that helps pay for our fuel reduction projects. We have all kinds of activities and funding, and all of these organizations work together to try and identify what's the closest, what's the worst hazard. We'll work on that first and then keep working.
All right, so this is not 1900. This is 2015. We have learned a lot about how to maintain our forests. We are in a very heavily populated area, so times have changed, and CAL FIRE is here to help us maintain a healthy forest, and that's what we're here to talk about. All right, we got one more break, and we're going to talk some more about some of the things going on to help keep this fire safe. In the meantime, we're going to go back into the studios with the weatherman that knows what kind of day it is, and boy, is it beautiful today, Mr. Todd Offenbacher.
Thanks, Ed McMahon. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, Jim Warlow's here from the Corcomore, and your Lake Tahoe 7-day forecast is up next. Stay with us.